everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Teresa from Teresa's Crafty Cabana. I found this really cool find at Dollar Tree. It's this Resin Studio mica powders, and I was really excited to try this out because I know a lot of you that have been seeing my perfect pearl creations maybe don't have the perfect pearls. So I really wanted to show you how these would work instead of using perfect pearls, and then at the end I'll show you kind of what the size difference is and maybe a little bit of the colors. So here I'm just taking out the colors from the packaging, and I found that there was almost a match to all the perfect pearl colors, except some of the colors were off a little bit, so I'll show you that later on in the video. But if you are buying these from Dollar Tree, if they have them at your stores, they don't have them at all of my stores. I just happened to find it by accident in the craft or square section. They do have this little piece of tape that you have to take off. So if you find it's not unscrewing easily, it's probably because there's a clear piece of tape keeping it screwed on. And then each of the caps show inside what the color is. I also found these stencils that were really cute. These are just some fall stencils in the fall section, and I didn't realize this when I picked them up, but there were two sets of stencils inside this one package. So this one side here that I'm going to be using today, and there was a pumpkin on the other side. So hello pumpkin, and that one's really cute too. And then I got another set as well. So for this one, if you're going to be using something with words, just make sure you put the stencil on your Gelli Plate backwards. I have already made that mistake so many times I can't even tell you, so I won't, but just know you want to put it on backwards, and that way when you pull the print is the type is the correct way. So this is the a sticky Gelli Plate. I had actually cleaned my Gelli Plate with some of the baby oil, and so this stencil is sticking really well to my gel plate, and I think the powders are going to stick really well as well. So if you're working on a not cleaned Gelli Plate, the only thing that I find is that sometimes the stencil doesn't stick as well as when it's on a cleaned Gelli Plate. So I'm going to be using a lot of the fall type of colors in here. I actually don't end up using the purple, the blue, or the green in this part of my experiment. One thing I notice is if you can see the powders, they're flying around quite a bit on the stencil part, it's very staticky. So I'm wondering, and I hadn't tried this yet, but I'm wondering if I put some cornstarch or something, like how when you're doing embossing, you put cornstarch to keep things from sticking. So I'm wondering if I put cornstarch over the top of this stencil before I put it on my Gelli Plate and then add the pearl powder. I wonder if that would keep it from having such a static charge. If any of you have tried that, let me know. I mean, I just think that it wasn't that big a deal, but it was so staticky. Every time I got close to the stencil, the color was like ripping away from the tip of the paintbrush here. So that was the only interesting thing that I found, but I really liked the colors. So this golden yellow has more of like a glittery gold to it, and then the orange is a softer orange, and the reddish orange is more of like a deeper red. When I compare it to the perfect pearls, there's not an actual orange color in my perfect pearls. It's more of like a golden yellow color. So I couldn't find like an exact match for the orange. So I was really actually excited to have kind of like a different color in this set that I didn't actually have in my perfect pearls. And then for that reddish color, I felt like that was more red than the orangish color that I have in my perfect pearls. So again, it was like a darker version of a red, almost like a brick red, and I thought that went really well when I was coloring in these acorns with the orange and the red. I thought they did a really good job at bringing out like fall colors. So I was really happy with these. The color on the end is like a gray color, but when you put it on the gel plate, it looks more like a silver. And so in the perfect pearls, they have like the white perfect pearl. So I think it's kind of comparable to that once you see it on the plate. One's actually white and this one's like a gray silver color. But I really thought that these these were so cool for $1.25 for 4. So for $2.50 you get 2 packs of these. You get all of these colors for $2.50. So if you don't have access to perfect pearls or they're not in your price range, I think these did a great job, and I would definitely recommend them. I'm excited to try them on other projects, and I'm actually going to do another video where I will test using these with the perfect pearls, because like I said, the colors are not all exact. Like this pink color, this is a very light, almost like a baby pink, and in the perfect pearls the pink color is more of like a bubblegum pink. So I really like that I can make a different transition with a light pink to a darker pink, with the oranges and the yellows, and even my greens. I'll show you at the end the colors compared to each other, but I just think I'm going to have a lot more variety just incorporating these with the perfect pearls. So if you already have perfect pearls, I think they'll go along great with the collection. They're not like an identical match, but if you don't have them, this is a great set to just get started if you wanted to do some of this kind of glittery jelly prints with the stencils. I think it would be really fun. So this is just a mat or a cloth that I'm using to pull off all that static charged powder that had gotten on the stencil. I didn't show this on film, but I had cleaned up the edges where some of the powder went over the edges. I just used some of the baby oil to clean up around the edges there. And then for this part, to pull the print, I wanted to show, someone had a question, what kind of acrylic paint is the best to use to pull a print? In this case, I'm using Dollar Tree powders, so resin powders. So I wanted to show what a Dollar Tree paint would look like to pull this print. I didn't have very many paints from Dollar Tree. I just had a gold color and this blue color, but I thought the blue would be a nice contrast to all the oranges and the reds in the stencil design that I have behind it. So I'm just wanting to show you how even having a very inexpensive acrylic paint will do the job to pull the print. One thing I'll note, if you've seen my video about getting perfectly clean jelly prints, you just want to make sure you let it dry on the Gelli Plate. So I actually, after I rubbed it in really well, made sure there were no bubbles and made sure all the paper made contact with the Gelli Plate, I walked away for 5 minutes, and that 5-minute time was enough time for it to dry and all the paint to stick to the paper. Just this one little corner here, I didn't press down all the way in the corner there, that's why that part didn't come up, but all the rest of it came up really nice. And then you can see the shininess of those powders, the pearly powders. I guess these are called the mica powders, and these are really just like, I mean, I can't even tell much of a difference in person from the perfect pearl powders and these powders. So just encourage you, if you don't have perfect pearls or access to them, or you don't want to spend the money on them, you have other options. I would say this is a very close comparison to using the perfect pearls on the Gelli Plate. So here's a size difference of the pearls and these little resin powders. The pink you can see is lighter than the perfect pearls. This is that kind of orangey color. The perfect pearl one is more orange. The Dollar Tree one is a little more red. This is kind of like that yellowish orange color, and then the orange color for the Dollar Tree powder. And you can see the size, they're much smaller, but you know what? I feel like my perfect pearl powders have lasted forever, so I have to imagine these little jars will last a very long time as well. That golden color, again, it was more of like a glittery gold, and then more of like a smooth gold. This green has almost, the perfect pearl green has almost like a bluish tint, whereas the Dollar Tree green looks more like just a green. For the blues, they were getting a lot closer with the blue, but again, just a finer powder it looked like on the perfect pearl. The purple was different, so I had a lighter purple in the perfect pearl and then a darker purple in the Dollar Tree one, which I was excited to have a different color of purple, so that was a nice thing. And then all I have left is the perfect pearl and white, and then the Dollar Tree kind of silvery color. So you can see here they are quite different, but again, once you put the powder down on paper or on your Gelli Plate, it's still going to be that kind of like silvery shine. So this is the completed jelly print, again using just all Dollar Tree stuff. So if you're looking for other ways to use your Gelli Plate, definitely recommend the supplies you can find at Dollar Tree, or any supplies that you already have on hand. I think when you're creative and crafty, that just adds to the thrill of having that finished product. So that's it for this time, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next crafty video. Happy crafting!